We'll take a look at this newly released poll to show former President Trump leading President Biden in several important swing states.
Fox 8's Sharon Crowley joins us now with a closer look at these numbers. Sharon, what's the big picture with what we're seeing?
Yeah, well, Natasha and Bianca, pollsters are telling me voters are still extremely concerned about President Biden's handling of the economy. Younger voters also objecting to the war in Gaza. Former President Trump also facing challenges, including finding a way to win voters who are not part of his base.
A new poll showing former President Donald Trump leading President Biden in 5 of 6 battleground states. The New York Times Siena College poll putting Trump ahead in Pennsylvania, Arizona, Michigan, Georgia, and Nevada. Biden is beating Trump right now in Wisconsin.
Voters are extremely concerned about the economy. That's the #1 issue. Twice as many voters tell us that's the most important issue as compared with everything else. And right now, by about 20 points, they say that Trump is better on the economy than is Biden.
Don Levy is the director of the Siena College Research Institute. He says Biden is losing younger voters who are upset about the war in Gaza.
The Israel and the conflict in Gaza, that's certainly eating away at Biden's support. It's fractured the Democrats. We're seeing a growing number of younger Democrats start to peel away from Biden.
Pollsters warn it's still early and a lot can change, not the least of which is the outcome of any of Trump's multiple legal battles. Kean University provost and political analyst David Birdsell says Biden still has time to turn things around, but he must move quickly.
It has to happen really before the summertime because those attitudes are going to get locked in, and it's going to be very difficult to change minds in the heat of the general election campaign in the few weeks between Labor Day and voting day.
Birdsell says the challenge for Biden, he needs to mend fractures within the Democratic Party, find a way to appeal to both the far left and moderate Democrats. He says Trump must also widen his support beyond MAGA voters to win in November.
And here's another interesting fact. Pollsters say the outcome of the presidential election may actually be decided by a group of voters known as double haters. Voters who don't like either candidate. The double haters living in these 6 battleground states may actually end up being the ones to put the next president in the White House. Ladies?
Yeah, super interesting where
double
we're at.
haters.
Yeah.
I was going to say, there's a lot of double haters. Yeah, that's where we're at. Thanks so much.